New CNN reporting about the first Ukrainian-born member of Congress, Indiana Republican Victoria Spartz. She's ruffled some feathers in Washington with her criticism of Ukraine's president. And when a bipartisan group of lawmakers visited Ukraine back in March, she showed up uninvited, acting, as one member put it, like a bull in a china shop. CNN's Melanie Zanona is live for us in Washington. Mel, tell us more about this.
Yeah, so Victoria Spartz was initially seen as this sort of perfect messenger for the cause. She's from Ukraine. She's been passionate about the need for the administration to aid the Ukraine war effort. She has championed key legislation on that front. But over the past few months, she has also been an outspoken critic of the Ukrainian government. She's peddled these old corruption allegations about President Zelensky and some of his top aides. And she has sparked allegations from her colleagues that she is mirroring pro-Russia talking points. And so this has really alarmed some White House officials, lawmakers in both parties, and members of the Ukrainian parliament, according to the reporting that I did with my colleague Natasha Bertrand. And now there has been an effort to intervene. The concern here is that she is undermining their efforts to stay united behind Ukraine at a pivotal moment. They're worried that she could give on-the-fence lawmakers a reason to oppose the next aid package. And so some top Republicans have tried to privately talk to her to rein her in. We're also told that the administration gave her an intelligence briefing and tried to sort of walk her through some of these allegations that she's made and refute them or explain that there's just not enough evidence to support them. And over the course of reporting, we also learned that she showed up uninvited to a congressional delegation trip earlier this year to Ukraine, where one GOP lawmaker said she acted like a bull in a china shop, that she was accusatory and rude during the trip. But Victoria Spartz is pushing back on that description. She said to us in an email, "This accusation is a cowardly misrepresentation of facts by some jealous members or staff, since we had a very productive bipartisan CODEL in March." And she also said on her outspoken criticisms of the Ukraine government that, "I also care deeply about people's lives. I cannot let them down, even if that means saying unpopular truths that offend the politicians or diverge from the popular narrative of the day." So, despite this effort to rein her in, there is no signs that Victoria Spartz is backing down. Bree.
Yeah, what a bizarre story. We know that you'll keep working on that. Melanie Zanona, thank you.
Things keep changing. Even things that we've been told over and over are not going to change. Consider the Washington Post now reporting something that Fox News has been featuring. More and more Republican voters are looking around and they don't even want Trump to run again, let alone be the nominee or be president again. They talk to GOP primary voters around the country, and a lot of folks are just saying stuff along the lines of, quote, "The Florida guy's good." Well, that's Ron DeSantis. And it may be that he just looks good at this moment or from a distance. Trump, though, has been watching him as a rival. And now Steve Bannon, who has been convicted, is blasting Fox News for the way it's treating Donald Trump and how it's favoring others like Mike Pence.
Mike Pence gives a 17-minute bromides for like a high school kid, cut and paste. Absolutely ridiculous. They cover 17 minutes and they blow a commercial break, which is like a mortal sin over at Fox, right? Why are they have their thumb on the scale for a loser and a coward like Mike Pence, and they're up against and trying to defeat again Donald J. Trump?
That's what's going on there, where you see two people in a lot of hot water over January 6th. Mr. Giuliani lost his law license and is under investigation. Mr. Bannon convicted. And they call.
Two people are dead and two more are critically hurt after last night's lightning strike near the White House.
The lightning strike hit Lafayette Park, just outside of the White House gates. Police say a married couple in their 70s from Wisconsin died in the incident. All four people who were hit were standing near a tree. CBS News. Oh, that video is of our own CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes at the White House last night when the lightning struck. She and her crew quickly got out of harm's way.
I can see Gabby and Ron there and trying to stay safe. And so we want to bring back Nancy Cordes. Nancy, that must have been, a lot of stuff goes on. There's been a lot of storms lately at the White House, but that must have been very scary. Tell us more.
Well, you know, it was a summer evening, and so thunderstorms aren't that unusual. What was unusual about this, Deborah, was how quickly the storm came on. We were sitting here waiting to go live on CBS News, and I was sitting down in a chair right here next to my live position, and it was raining, yes, but we hadn't seen a lot of lightning, hadn't heard a lot of thunder, and then suddenly there was that massive boom and the lightning strike so close together, and it really sounded like it was happening right next to us, and that's why I literally just jumped up in fright because I was so taken off guard. And then you saw our fantastic photographer Ron Wyndham come into the frame as well. He immediately said, "This is not safe. We need to get indoors." He grabbed us some umbrellas, and we headed in to do our live shot inside. It wasn't until 20 minutes later that we realized that actually the lightning had struck just a few hundred feet away in Lafayette Park, and that 4 people who were standing under a tree had been so badly injured that 2 of them, an elderly couple from Wisconsin, would later pass away. And it's just a terrible, terrible situation, and our heart really goes out to those families. And I have to say, we're all still a little bit rattled by it today because it seemed to come out of the blue and came so close to where all of us were standing here on the White House North Lawn.
Yeah, really so tragic about those other 4, but glad that you and the crew are safe. Nancy, thank you for sharing.
Sure thing.
Amy Chin joins us now. She is a New York Times international correspondent covering China. Amy, thanks for being here. So when Russia invaded Ukraine, a lot of people started wondering about China. I remember questions at that point about whether it would take the opportunity to launch an attack on Taiwan. Given what is happening now, does it appear that Beijing is actually moving towards that possibility?
I think it's really natural for people to make those comparisons and to wonder about that. But I think it's really important to remember the domestic situation in China right now. Even though we are seeing these tensions and this flare-up currently, it's actually a huge political year domestically for China's leader, Xi Jinping. He is set to take a 3rd term later this year. And I don't think he wants to be at a full-blown war and, leading up to this really unprecedented move that he's about to make. So it's not to say that this might not happen, in the years down the line. But I think that for now, analysts are saying that the chances of an imminent attack are not likely.
Amy, how much further do you think China is willing to go to punish Speaker Pelosi over her visit to Taiwan?
Well, they've already been, pretty forceful in their response so far. They announced sanctions on Speaker Pelosi and her family, even though those are mostly symbolic. These military drills, shortly after she landed in Taiwan, they announced that they would be conducting military drills in the waters and airspace around Taiwan from Thursday to Sunday. This is really unprecedented, and we haven't seen anything like this where they've been, exercising so close to Taiwan with live fire. Yesterday, they sent missiles into waters near Taiwan, even into waters near Japan. The missiles, some of them went over Taiwanese airspace, which is previously they hadn't done before. Today, on Friday, they continued to send ships and aircraft closer to Taiwan, passing the median line that separates the Taiwanese Strait. And so, it's already clear that they've really made this forceful response. I think that it is possible that there could be more actions in the coming days, but so far this is already a significant escalation.
Yeah. On that point, live fire missiles into Taiwan's airspace, missiles into Japan's waters. Obviously, we expected a response from China. They told us that they would respond. But did the Biden administration actually expect this big of a reaction? And what is the U.S. likely going to do about it now?
I think we're, of course, this is a significant response, but from what I hear from analysts, it's not, much beyond the boundaries of what has been expected. Certainly, everything's being monitored very closely, and I think that, the Biden administration is certainly trying to find ways, while still projecting force, but ways to de-escalate the situation. The concern, I think, is that there might be some sort of accident, some sort of mishap during this time. And so we saw, for example, the Pentagon announced that they would be postponing a routine ICBM test. They've sent an aircraft carrier strike group near to Taiwan, but not actually entering the strait. And so I think that, all sides are trying to sort of make a strong message, but not go overboard.
Amy Chin, thank you so much.
Thank you.
The situation in the South African township of Kagiso, west of Johannesburg, remains volatile following violent protests. Demonstrations were sparked by the gang rape of 8 women attacked while filming a music video in the area last week. Well, illegal miners from neighbouring countries have been blamed for the assaults. Our South Africa correspondent Nomsa Maseko sent this report from Johannesburg.
We are in Kagiso, an area west of Johannesburg, where residents have been setting fire to homes that they believe belong to illegal miners known here as Zamazamas. Now they're trying to put out the fire because the danger here is that the fire could spread to other homes and all these people around us could lose all their belongings. Now, just last week, 8 women were gang raped, allegedly by these illegal miners, and that is why community members have now taken to the streets trying to drive out all the undocumented African migrants who live in this area. There have been raids in this township almost every day since the gang rape happened last week Thursday, and as a result, more than 130 illegal miners have been arrested. They are so far facing charges of possession of explosives and illegal firearms. They've not been charged, though, for rape because DNA analysis still needs to take place. Police have said, though, that as soon as DNA tests are concluded, some of the 130 men who have been arrested could face rape charges as well. Behind me is an old mine dump, and in there are ventilation shafts, and that's where illegal miners work from. But the community here has had enough.
Let them stop doing what they're doing, killing our people, raping them, forcefully entering their houses and doing whatever that they do.
They can just leave. Yeah, for them leaving is going to be fine, rather than saying an eye for an eye every time. An eye for an eye is going to make the whole world blind. So to avoid making the world blind, they rather go than we stay in peace.
There are fears that protests such as this one could spread to other parts of Johannesburg, particularly in the east of Johannesburg, because that's where illegal mining is also rampant. Police have also been doing all they can here to disperse crowds and also clear the streets, but it has not been easy.
Nomsa Maseko with that report, plenty on the website as well.